Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing chapter 14, verse 2. And he's continuing to talk about how important this knowledge that he's about to impart is. So let's do the prayers. And he hasn't gone into it just yet. So we'll sing the prayers, and then sing the verse. Excuse me. Let us really call out to Krishna in our prayers. I beseech you to really close your eyes, sing with me, and call out to Krishna. Please, Krishna, be present with us. When you're singing Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, sing with your entire heart and call out to Krishna and ask him to be present here with us and help us understand. Okay, let's sing. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dear Bhagwan Shri Krishna, please help us understand this knowledge to the best of our ability, and please help us use these few days leading up to Janmashtami in your loving service. Please help us understand what bhakti is. Please help us feel motivated to do service for you in whatever way you deem fit for us. Please guide us through our intuition and let us know what service we should be doing for you. And please let us understand. Please let us hear your glories, hear your pastimes forms, study your words from the Gita and from other places, and please help us. Okay, so let's sing the verse together. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataः sargepi nopajayanti pralayena vyathanti cha. My throat. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. We're not worried about death anymore because we know. Those who take refuge in this wisdom would be united with me. They will not be reborn at the time of creation, nor destroyed at the time of dissolution. I mean, we're not reborn or dissolved. It's just that we will not be disturbed at the time of dissolution because our soul is eternal. And one can attain transcendental like my nature, like my own. So that's qualitative attainment, not quantitative, because qualitatively we are similar to God. After acquiring perfect transcendental knowledge, one acquires qualitative equality with God, becoming free from the cycle of birth and death. But we do not lose our individual soul identity. We are always looking to the lotus feet of the God of Krishna and engaged in loving service to him. So even after liberation, we do not lose. We're not merging with Brahman. We're actually independent. So one of the things that I've started to do in order to deepen this understanding is as I'm walking by, like when I'm doing my long walks, I think of myself as an individual spark. Like I think of myself as this light that's shining and that's independent from the light that's shining of God and looking up to God. So I maintain it's very powerful somehow. It's feeling so good that I am this thing, and that this is the thing that I've brought a few times in my videos, but I've not talked about it because I want to shoot a different video for that, a personal growth video for that. This concept of I matter. I matter to God. God loves me, and I've been thinking a lot about it. So I'm not quite ready to, I guess, post that video yet. But yeah, so when I'm thinking of that, so it helps me also understand my individuality, like that I'm different and I matter. And then as I'm walking, I'm just seeing all of these, like I'm walking by lawns, there's so much grass and things things. So I'm picturing that there are all of that, like each grass, each grass that clump of grass that comes from one root, like that's one soul. There's all these souls there, and all of those are also shining their light brightly, and all of those insects that are under the earth, they're also shining their light brightly, and there's just so many souls all around me, and we're just doing this. And then I'm singing the Maha Mantra loudly so that every one of those can benefit, whoever is hearing, whoever is able to hear or catch the vibration of my sound, so that maybe they don't have to go through all of those 8.4 million species to get to a human species, and they can jumpstart and get faster to a human species, just even possibly by hearing the Maha Mantras being sung once, because I'm just walking past and they might be hearing half of it or one of it. One time of the Maha Mantra. So the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So yeah, so just think of yourself and think of everyone as just the same exact soul. You know, you see this huge big tree. I mean, I was practicing this yesterday. I was seeing this huge big tree, and then I was seeing this tiny little clump of grass, and I was like, that and me and this grass is exactly the same soul, exactly the same, not the same soul, the individual souls, but the same quality of soul. Like we're exactly the same equality in terms of equality, but we just happen to be in different things. And I'm just feeling immensely grateful, like, oh my goodness, how lucky am I that I'm in this human body, and how lucky are we all that we're in this human body and we're actually reading the Gita. We're here, we've found Krishna, we've discovered Krishna. Like for me, coming from an atheist background, it's just unthinkable. 5 years ago, it was unthinkable for me that I would start believing in God and my life would look like this. And yet here I am, and I'm so immensely grateful for it. And yeah. So yeah, let us use this, let us understand this, and let's practice to start to see everybody around us as individual souls, the same as us. See all these plants, all these lawn, the clumps of grass in the lawn, or all these insects that we can imagine are under the earth. Imagine all of them being exactly the same as us. I mean, same quality as us, although we're individual souls. But yeah, and that can help bring us to humility. I mean, I have a crazy ton of ego, but yeah, that can help just transform that slowly but surely, hopefully with Krishna's mercy and grace. Yeah, so those who equip themselves with the knowledge that he's about to bestow in this chapter, will no longer have to accept repeated confinement in the mother's womb, or when Mahavishnu is breathing in, all the universes come in through his pores, and when he's breathing out, all the universes come out. And when he breathes in, then we're in a state of suspended animation in the womb of God at the time of universal dissolution, which is God knows how long, like which is a long time. And then the universe is created, and then Brahma creates the actual worlds within the universe. Each universe there's a Brahma, and he creates actual worlds, and that takes forever because he does long meditations before Krishna gives him the information of how to create the world. And then we're brought in. There's a whole process in cosmology in the Srimad Bhagavatam that's written about. So this whole thing takes forever. We think that our lifetime is a long time. It is not. It is nothing. It is tiny speck, and it takes forever. So we are so lucky to be here right now. We have such an opportunity to make something of our lives and to find eternal truth, find eternal love. Like we can just be desperate. I don't want all this fakeness. I want reality. Please give me reality. Please help me understand real love, real truth. Okay. Krishna repeatedly uses the strategy of proclaiming the results of what he's about to teach. Na vyathanti means no misery. Sadharmya means acquire a similar divine nature as God. Okay. And then when we're released from material energy, then Yog Maya. So we're released from Maya, and then Yog Maya, which is spiritual energy, good Maya, not bad Maya. Regular Maya, just plain old Maya, it's clutching us, but Yog Maya is good because then we are equipped with divine knowledge, love, and bliss, and we become the nature of God with divine godlike qualities. Okay. So this one is complicated. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. You can read through it if you want to. But basically, what he's saying is knowledge without material qualities is called nirgun gyan. It's said to be superior knowledge. So we should take refuge in that. And by taking that, the jiva will possess the same nature as God, similar form, sarupya dharma. And then, so people who don't understand think that when one rejects material qualities, the jiv becomes bereft of qualities, but that's not true. It's the opposite. What is Vishesha, transcendenting matter, there's transcendental Vishesh within my abode of Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan. So transcendental qualities, transcendental form, transcendental circumstances are determined. This is called the transcendental nature, nirgud sadharmya. Sadharmya. So not just sarupya dharma, but sadharmya. Nirgun Gyan, by Nirgun Gyan, which is knowledge without material qualities, transcendental knowledge, one transcends the world which possesses mundane qualities and achieves Nirgun Brahman, and then transcendental qualities arise. Okay. Didn't fully understand it. I did end up reading the whole thing, but I didn't fully understand it. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this verse. Wish you a day filled with lots and lots of intensity of desire for Bhagwan Shri Krishna, so that you can be filled. I mean, you will not get there faster because you intensely desire. Bhagwan Shri Krishna has to give you his mercy. It's like Sachinandan Maharaj says that there is this temple of Ranganathan and there's 3 doors or 7 doors or something, I'm forgetting. But you can go through the first doors, but the last door only opens from the inside. God opens it. So it's the same with bhakti. You can have this intense desire, but God is the only one who will open the door. But he will not open the door. He's very unlikely to open the door unless you have that intense desire. So you need to prepare the soil of your heart and make it good, so that God feels like he has an opportunity, a place to come to. And then when he will come, you have to leave it up to him. You do not have any control over it whatsoever. When God will give you bhakti, when God will reveal himself to you, but you can at least have this intense desire so that you cultivate the soil of the heart, and make it really beautiful. Create a golden throne or the throne made of diamond in your heart, with your intense desire, and then you're ready. Then your heart is ready, and then God can come whenever he chooses to come. Okay, that's it for this video. We'll do chapter 14 verse 3 in the next video. Wish you a day filled with lots and lots and lots of Krishna's grace, so that he comes into the throne, the golden throne of your heart that you have created, or that you're in the process working to create, as soon as possible. Radhe Radhe.